Hey everybody, it's Erica from In the Company of Cards, back again with something quick but important. So, uh, someone left a comment on one of my videos that seemed, on the surface, quite innocuous, but was in fact what I'm going to call a microaggression. Now, if you're Black, you already know what a microaggression is, because you've probably experienced many in the course of a day, I would hazard a guess, as have I. But for others of my viewers who may not be aware, um, school is in session. So you know what an aggression is, right? If you punch somebody in the face, that's aggression. If you curse somebody out, that's aggression. But there is a term called microaggression. Now, I am sure that this term would probably be relegated to the ash heap that 47 and company would like DEI to be resting on. But at any rate, it's worth knowing about just from a personal perspective as you interact with people um, who are different from you. It's really important that you know like what a microaggression could look like. So here's a microaggression. This is not what the person said. I'll get to that in a minute. But here's a microaggression. Um, well, what are you? What do you mean, what am I? Human being, woman, Lenormandist? What are you asking me? And why is it important that you know that? What will it do for you in terms of which box you put me in your head to know what I am? Here's another microaggression. And it's Black History Month. So if you don't want to hear this Black part, then maybe this is not the video for you. Here's another aggression. I heard this a lot when I was a kid. Uh, my white friends would say, "Why do you call yourself Black? You're just as much white as you are Black," because of course my father was white. And as though it were problematic for them that I was so identified as Black and so proud of being Black. So you know what I would say to them? I would say, let's try an experiment. You have an older brother, right? They'd say, yeah. I say, okay, well, why don't you invite me over to dinner and we will announce to your parents that I am dating your brother. And then let's see how white I am. And you know what? I never had to explain it further than that. They would say, oh, because then they got it. So, you know, microaggression, touching my hair when nobody asked you to touch my hair. Nobody gave permission for you to touch my hair. It's a microaggression. Is it punching me in the face? No. But let me suggest to you that microaggressions, and there are many, that's just a couple of examples, they add up. So here's the one that I heard in my comments the other day. And people will say, "Oh, why are you paying any attention to that? Just ignore it." I think this person meant well. I don't think that they meant me any ill will, but I will say they felt some type of way. And when I tell you what they said, you will understand, I hope. If you're Black, you'll get it. If you're white, I'll explain if I need to. So they said, I'm really curious. Do you believe in reincarnation? So far, so good, right? Because has it ever occurred to you that there's a high probability that you might in another life have been white, a white man or a white woman? What? So what I did write them back and I said, yeah, I do believe reincarnation is a thing. I do. I'm probably more Buddhist in my philosophy of how things work than anything else. So yeah, I believe in that. I said, but and what that means for me is that all of us, each of us, has been everything. So what's your point? I didn't say what's your point because I already knew what their point was. Um, if this was my classroom, I'd give a quiz. What do you think their point was? But it's not my classroom, it's my YouTube channel. I think that their point was that they weren't seeing me as mm, sufficiently sympathetic or empathetic to white people. Did it ever occur to you that you were maybe white in a previous life? Oh, I'm sure I have been. I'm sure I've been a lot of things in my previous lives. And but it's a microaggression, right? Instead of saying something honest like, um, I feel, instead of making an I statement, that's the other thing. Instead of saying, I feel, I don't know, excluded or misunderstood as a white person when you say X, well, then that's something that we can have a conversation about. But the micro piece is where you start out by saying something innocuous, like, so do you believe in reincarnation? And then you hit me with the punchline. So I say that to say I don't have to have been reincarnated as a white person. My father was white. Half my family is white. His whole side is white. So yeah, and I will say this, because he was someone who understood his privilege as a white man, who understood the nature of racism and the evil that it was, and the breadth and depth of space that it takes up. He came from a farm in Nebraska. I always say he never saw anything black except maybe, I don't know, a horse or a cow before he left the farm. But he opened his eyes, he decided he would be woke, and he paid attention, and he saw the lay of the land. And so therefore, my patience with white people who ask me questions like, did it ever occur to you that you might have been a white person in a previous life? My patience is limited. And you know what? Every day is Black History Month for me. So if I say things that are, I don't know, too black or too black centric or whatever, make you feel some type of way, then maybe I'm not for you. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind if you find someone who is more your flavor of, I guess, what I would say vanilla, but do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just want, if that was not a sufficient explanation or definition of what microaggression is, I urge you to Google it, unless Google has taken that definition down because it's too DEI for Google. Um, but I answered her. I did not bibbity bobbity boo her. She's still among us. Uh, but I would just urge people to think before they speak, to speak with their eyes open. In other words, be woke when you say what you say. And if you have something really specific to say about how what I say makes you feel, just say that. Just say that. Um, the person said, I'd be really interested in learning more about your past lives. What? What? I suggest that this person would be better served to delve into their own past lives. Past life regression is a thing, by the way. There are practitioners out there who can help you do that, and it's fascinating. I've done it twice. Very, very interesting. But don't worry about my past lives. Worry about yourself. I guess that's the message for that viewer. All right. And since we're still in Black History Month, there's been an article that just came out. Actually, this is nothing I didn't know, but they have a statistic attached to it. This was an organization called the Environmental Working Group. the EWG. They're a research and advocacy group focused on corporate accountability. And they just published a study. And the study said that fully 80% of personal care and beauty products marketed to Black women are full of hazardous chemicals that increase the risk of developing certain types of cancer. So, we're talking about things that you may have heard about, but we're also talking about things that you may not even realize. Like, so, for example, hair straighteners, chemical straighteners for the hair, dyes, but also things like lotion and things like that, and skin products that are marketed to us. Um, Apparently, I mean, it's striking in terms of the disparity because they were referencing products specifically marketed to Black women. Now, I have my own theory as to why that is, and I will say, not that anybody asked me, but and you're probably saying, "Oh yeah, I can see that." All I use in my hair is shampoo and water. That's it. Nothing else. No cream, no oil, no conditioner, God knows no relaxer. No, because I knew that this was the case. I didn't know it was fully 80% of the products. So I just, I don't want to go by what I think. Let's look and ask, because listen, because there's this disparity, somebody in that industry knew don't put those products in these products, don't put those ingredients in these products, just put them in those products. See what I'm saying? So I'm just going to act all innocent and I'm going to ask the cards, um, what was what was that all about? And I'm going to use the card for beauty and beauty products, which is the bouquet. And so I'm just asking the question. I'm broad-minded in my asking, and I'd like to see what was that was that just a bad luck accident that 80% of those products ended up with the carcinogens, but not 80% of products marketed to the other segments of population? So let's look and see what the cards have to say about this. Okay. So we're looking for the bouquet, and that's going to stand for, the beauty industry. You know what? This is really unpleasant. And I don't need to pull more cards than what the ones that I've got. We have the rider. We have the dog. We have the beauty industry. We have the coffin. And we have the lily. What I'm about to say will sound to some people hyperbolic, meaning over the top. But I'm just reading what the cards say. So when we think about this beauty industry, this is the card in the middle. What message did they want to send to Black women? We're your friends. Look, we're making you these products so that your hair can swing in the breeze and whatever, all those straightening products do. And that you can smell like whatever. We mean you well. Trust us. Trust us. But look at the last two cards. Let me tell you something. You rarely see these two cards together. And I'm going to say, speaking of statistics, 9 times out of 10, when I see these two cards together in a reading, it speaks of physical demise, physical death. And what are the two cards? The coffin. All right, that makes sense. And the lily. A lot of times funeral flowers are lilies. But when you see these two cards together, the traditional meaning of that is someone, not you, not necessarily the person drawing the cards, obviously, but it speaks of physical death. So I can do some mirroring. You know, what is the message? Again, we're your buddies, we're your friends, we mean you well. You can have that swinging blonde whatever thing on your head, just like the white women can. It's just that, we're putting a little something extra in the products for you. So I can mirror this with the lily, just the lily. Like, relax, relax your hair. Be relaxed about relaxing your hair. That's the message. But I can also mirror the dog, this card that's meant to be um, honest and trustworthy and good for us and meaning us well. I can mirror it with the coffin. You know, uh, not to be Debbie Downer, but there are so many ways that Black women are mistreated. I'll just say that, mistreated. And I just wanted to call attention to that study uh, and say that the beauty industry is at the forefront of this. If you don't like locks, grow an afro. If you don't want to grow an afro, shave your head. I don't know. But the way that our hair grows out of our head is fine. It's beautiful. And we have been taught to hate it. But that's racist patriarchy. We've been taught to hate our hair. I don't hate my hair. My hair, I just let my hair grow however it grows. I don't comb it. I don't brush it. I wash it once a week with a clarifying shampoo, and I get it wet every single day in the shower. And I take a towel, microfiber towel, and sit with that on my hair for like 10 minutes, and that's it. That's all I do. Now, my hair may not be your ideal standard of what beauty looks like. For me, it is, though, and that's what counts. So, Black women, my Black women viewers, 80% of the products that are marketed specifically to us are carcinogenic. That's an aggression that I would hardly call micro. But when you put that together with microaggressions, I mean, it's a miracle that we live and breathe and have being. But guess what? We do. We do. And we're here. We're here to stay. We know that trouble don't last always. Um, but I just wanted to call my audience's attention to this horrible fact. And the cards show, again, the rider, the dog. I'm your buddy. I'm your pal. I'm your friend. That's the message we want to convey, the beauty industry. But really, we mean you death. It's sort of like I'm going to call it what it is, slow genocide. Because you know what I don't think? I don't think it's, again, I don't think it's by accident. Why are these carcinogens only in the products marketed to us? It's on purpose. But they can bat their eyes and look innocent. And I'm sure I'll probably have viewers who will say, that's not true. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. Anyway, forewarned is forearmed. So just act accordingly. That's all I want to say. Thank you so much for coming. I know this was, not a well, I guess it is of national import as far as I'm concerned, but it's not maybe earth-shaking to my general readership. But you know what? I feel like it should be. I feel like it should be. Pluto and Aquarius, everything being turned on its head. Hopefully that beauty industry will also be turned on its head because it's a crime. And literally, it's a crime and there should be prosecutions. But I won't hold my breath about that. All right. I'm sure something more uplifting, I hope, is what I'll have for you tomorrow. Take care.